Welcome to April 27th, 2020, Math 8. We're going to look at 8.2 in our textbook today and some practice exercises with using surface areas of rectangular prism. And so the vocabulary, surface area, the surface area of a solid object is a measure of the total area that the surface of the object occupies. And then we're going to be using the word net. A geometry net is a two-dimensional shape that can be folded to form a three-dimensional shape or a solid. Or a net is a pattern made when the surface of a three-dimensional figure is laid out flat, showing each face of the figure. Hopefully today you received packet number 3 from me. So for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at 8.2, and again, you should have this in your package, this page right here. This shows again surface area of a rectangular prism. And again, the surface area S of a rectangular prism is the sum of the areas of the bases and the lateral faces. And so here's an example of a net right here. And then we're going to be using this formula. S equals 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. I want to also share that during this chapter 8, I'm going to ask you to use your formula sheet as well, which should also be in packet 3. And we're focusing right here. So where you see SA, that stands for surface area. And again, we have the formula that we're going to be using. And it labels it for you on this figure, L, W, and H, length, width, and height. And so please use your formula sheet. You can also see abbreviations. Let me scroll this down. Abbreviations are also listed here at the bottom. But again, we're focusing on SA surface area right here. Another lesson I'm going to ask you to complete today is surface area of rectangular prism. So if you find this in your packet, what I'm going to ask you to do is follow the steps here to see how you can make your own rectangular prism. So you're going to cut around this solid black line, and then you're going to fold it along the dots right here, and these gray areas are going to be folded and taped together. So you can either pause recording and try this now, or you can try this after this lesson. So what I did is I just cut the shape out, and if you pre-fold the different parts here, that might make it easier if you're just pre-folding everything, and then you're going to assemble it as best as you can, and then tape right here as best as you can along these lines. Here, let me try and tape it and pause this. So again, if you just fold in the gray pieces inside and then tape it, then you can make your own rectangular prism. So I'm going to ask, if you haven't already, to go ahead in packet 3 and get out the page. It says 8.2 surface area of rectangular prisms, because this is what your assignment today will be, to complete number 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and look at the textbook examples. And this example is on your paper as well. So to find the surface area of a prism, you can draw a net if you wanted to, which would be to flatten out the shape. I'm going to ask you to use the formula S equals 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. And if you use your formula sheet, you can also use that for the labeling. So in this case right here, you can plug in the known values for the length and the width. And then using order of operations, you're going to first multiply the different groups, and then you'll add them together. Let's go ahead and look at the extra example tutorial.
Find the surface area of the prism. Here's our prism with the dimensions 6 yards by 4 yards by 9 yards. To find the surface area, our first step will be to draw a net of our prism. A net is a two-dimensional representation of our solid. So it's as if this is a cardboard box and we open it up to lay it flat. So our net will look like this. This will help us find the surface area, S, of our rectangular prism. We will find the area of each of the rectangles that make up the net. The two red rectangles are the bases, and the four blue rectangles are the lateral faces. So, to start finding the surface area, let's first group together our bases. Both of the bases are the same dimensions, so first we will multiply by 2, and then the length times the width. 6 is the length, 4 is the width. So that gives us the area of the rectangles, which are the bases. Then we'll add that to the area of the lateral faces. As you can see, we have another 2 rectangles that are the same. They have the dimensions 6 yards by 9 yards. So again, we will start by multiplying by 2, and 6 is our length, and 9 yards, back on our original prism, is the height. So again, we found the area of these 2 rectangles. And finally, we add the remaining 2 rectangles. They are 4 yards by 9 yards. So we multiply by 2 again, and 4 yards was our width, and we have 9 yards as the height. So now we took care of each rectangle in the net. So that will give us the surface area. So what we'll do is substitute in the values for each of our variables. So we have 2 times the length, which was 6, times the width, 4. Then we add that to 2 times the length, which is 6, times the height, 9. And finally we add 2 times the width, which is 4, times the height, 9. So now we can simplify to find the surface area. So we have 2 times 6, which is 12, and 12 times 4, which is 48. And we add that to 2 times 6, which is 12, and 12 times 9 is 108. And finally, we add that to 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 9 is 72. So now we add these 3 numbers, 48 plus 108 plus 72, which is equal to 228. So we found that the surface area is 228 square yards.
So for today's practice, what I'd like you to do again is reference that page that says 8.2. And I'm going to ask you to complete on your own numbers 1 and 2 for today. So try your best to use the example. Please use your formula sheet. And then for tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to practice surface area as well. And this will be the worksheet that I'll have you practice for tomorrow. And so you can show your work right here. You can reference the tutorial from today's lesson as well if you need to, or use your formula sheet and the page 8.2. I hope you have a great day, and as always, if you have any questions, have your parents email me, heidi.younger@centerhealth.com. I hope you have a great day.